So, trusting your intuition. And what I want to talk about today is when you are trusting your intuitive voice or gut feeling to say or do something, try something, and you act on it, and it does not work well. The outcome may even feel disastrous to you. So I wanted to talk about this because it's often why we stop listening to our intuition, into that we stop listening to that inner voice, that inner knowing. We shut down. And so that experience of having a bad outcome when you act on your intuition is um, is very common. And I've experienced a lot of it. So I'll just use a hypothetical example here before I start to talk about why we have this experience and what's actually going on. So let's say in this situation, you have an idea for your job at your place of work. It's an idea that would change things significantly, like people would do things totally different, and you believe in this idea because it would benefit everyone. It would change things for the better. But it is a big, maybe it feels like a big risk to present this idea. Like, it's maybe a challenging idea for people, but you believe in it, you put work into it, you organize it, and then you ask your boss if you can present it, and you have your colleagues come in and your boss, and you give them this really amazing presentation that you worked hard on. And the whole thing feels right and exciting. But then after you give the presentation, their response is like, we don't. Actually, there's a lot of problems with that. It would never work because this would never work. And they're actually very critical, and they're not liking it at all. They might even, maybe they seem annoyed that you wasted their time on this thing. Like, what? And so that situation can feel pretty bad, and you might feel really deflated, like, oh, why did I do all that? And there might be some self-judgment about, I'm crazy, I'm stupid for thinking that's a good idea. And you just might beat yourself up, put yourself down. You might also feel really hurt by the feeling of rejection of that experience. So in that situation, so why would that happen? Why would we feel guided by our intuition and have it turn out like something like that seems so like unsuccessful, put it that way? Well, in that situation, the hypothetical situation I just talked about, well, you might have a fear of rejection that comes up. And that situation may have been needed so that you could become aware of that. And why would it be good to become aware of your fear of rejection? Well, if it's there, and in the situation I'm talking about, that already existed. It wasn't like the situation made you feel afraid of rejection. It was already there. And becoming aware of it so you can work on it, because even if you're not aware of it, it's still limiting you. It's still controlling you unconsciously, because you're probably staying away from things, not even aware of it, that it would bring it up. So it's about living life more fully, and the fear of rejection will definitely not allow us to live our lives fully, because we can't take risks and we can't do what we really want to do because we're afraid of how someone will respond. Okay, so the fear of rejection is one major thing. It's a common thing. And then we can work on that and go through the pain of the experience so that we can come out of it having transformed some of these things. So then looking at it that way, your intuition is actually guiding you to always towards something beautiful, even if it doesn't feel like it, because transforming those things changes our lives. And of course, there are many things that could be very specific to your situation. But, and then there are practical things, like in that example, say you put all this work into creating this presentation and organizing all this material and this like revolutionary new idea. Well, you can do it again because you've already put so much work into it. And maybe actually it's a better fit for another company. Or maybe their criticisms actually had some, they might have had some good points and you can improve it and you can take that experience and make it better. Or maybe you end up going to another place and realizing that, yeah, this job is not really a good fit for me. It doesn't allow me to express my creativity, or it's just not a good match. And so often when we act on our intuition, the fear is we're afraid to lose what we already have. But sometimes what we have isn't really that great, and we might need to let go of it so we can embrace something and experience something much more expansive and growth producing that's more resonant for us. So, and really one of the major things that I would say I've experienced in taking risks and it not working out like how I wanted was to experience that letting go of the attachment to outcome and that general feeling of what that is like. And so when we act on that intuitive idea, what's actually happening is that it's like we're taking a jump into this open blue sky. And that can feel really amazing and great. But there's also the fear of what's going to happen. Because part of that jumping into the sky is we're not controlling anything. We're not managing things in a way that's coming from like tension. We're making choices, but it's doing it from a place of inspiration and joy rather than from like fear or control. So that expansive feeling into the blue sky also comes with it that I don't know what's going to happen when I jump. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if people are going to reject me, if they're going to like me. I don't know if I'm going to lose my job. I don't know if this, and I'm not saying go out and risk everything in an irresponsible way, but to take risks and understand why things don't always turn out the way we want, that it's not your intuition that was wrong. It's not you that's wrong. It's just that we often misunderstand why we needed to act on that. And it always leads us to the experiences we need that's growth producing. Now, I don't want to make it look like things could be a disaster often when you act on your intuition, because it's not like that often. It could be incredible. And you could have these really great experiences and experiences of success. And there's nothing wrong with success. There's nothing wrong with getting what you want. It's just sometimes when we don't, then that's an opportunity. And we can look at, okay, what is this experience trying to show me, so that you don't have to shut down, so that you don't have to stop listening to yourself and stop moving forward into whatever it is that your intuition is guiding you to do. Because it really, that voice inside of us really does know more than we do. And that can feel a little bit uncomfortable or scary. As always, I put some tools in the description box if you're watching this on YouTube to work through maybe the fear of letting go, to the attachments or the self-judgments, and things like fear of rejection. Okay.